morning, everybody. With the tone having been set by at the inaugural session and the two preceding speakers, I will run you through a brief of MSSRF, the Foundation's initiatives on leveraging agriculture for nutrition through the years. So at the Foundation, food and nutrition security and having as an organization for sustainable rural development, leveraging agriculture for nutrition and food and nutrition security has been a core underlying theme in our work in all the areas that, in the field areas that we work in, both at action research and at the field level. So I just wanted to place this before you. This was in the early years, in 1995-96, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, in his introduction to our annual report, the chairman's introduction, how he defined food and nutrition security. And you'll see going through it that it resonates so much with what we have today as the Sustainable Development Goal 2, which calls for ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture. And with this as the premise, again, in the 90s, we had worked on a hunger-free area program, and in Tamil Nadu, taken up a district, Dharmapuri district, and a block there to make it hunger-free. And I wanted to highlight this point of addressing the issue of hidden hunger through the cultivation and consumption of appropriate vegetables and fruits. So that was a partnership with the government of Tamil Nadu. FAO was involved, local universities and institutions were involved. And so that's just one instance of an initiative that we have taken in this area. So just to give you a brief in our different areas where we were focused on leveraging agriculture for nutrition, in terms of community-based interventions to promote agrobiodiversity conservation and food security, to demonstrate models of the gene, seed, grain bank continuum, and working with communities to have sustainable agriculture practices, promoting home gardens of fruits and vegetables, which we are now focusing as nutrition gardens with focused, direct nutrition focus in terms of choice of vegetables. And a couple of, between 2011 and 14, we had spearheaded this program on alleviating poverty and malnutrition in agrobiodiversity hotspots. Among the agrobiodiversity hotspot areas that we work in is Koraput district in Odisha, Wayanad in Kerala, and we've been in Kolli Hills in the Namakkal district of Tamil Nadu, and where the approach has been through the 4C of conservation, cultivation, consumption, and commerce, through working with rural communities and making them have a stake in local biodiversity conservation. Again, to draw your attention to target 2.5 of the Sustainable Development Goal 2, which again calls for this kind of preserving, conserving, and genetic diversity through participatory approaches at the community level. And the thrust has been on millets, the nutrient-dense crops like millets, which Dr. Dalwai referred to in Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and tubers in Kerala. At the research level, we had a decade-long association with the UN World Food Programme, mapping the food security situation in the country, producing reports at the national level as well as state-level reports and studies on food distribution programs like the midday meal program, the ICDS, and the PDS. And building capacity at the community level has been is a core thrust area across all our work in terms to endeavor to ensure sustainability once a project ends and we move forward. How do you ensure that it continues? So building cadres at the community level in terms of agrobiodiversity corps, the community hunger fighters. We started working with the women from farmer suicide affected families in Vidarbha, trying to organize them, and then included other women farmers and covering them under what subsequently came to be a national program as Mahila Kisan Sashaktikaran Pariyojana. And with support from that, we've organized about 3,200 women farmers across 2 blocks of Wardha district have been federated. There are 3 block level federations now, and similar work happening in Odisha. Again, promoting farmer producer organizations. A lot of NGOs are now engaged in doing this, where again focusing on nutrient dense crops like millets, pulses, and facilitating the capacity building of, in the management of these FPOs. And as an NGO, we endeavor to demonstrate models. So it's like community food grain banks in tribal areas of Odisha, which are still functioning and in terms of now managing themselves independently. We worked on promoting community fodder banks in Ladakh, because that's again in that was in the early 2000s, where there are these lean periods when areas are cut off during the severe winters. Feed banks for poultry in Namakkal was something we tried out. Pulse panchayats, again, promotion of pulses. Dr. Dalwai talked a lot about pulses, but again, having farmers groups doing it in one area and getting the required support once it's done at a cluster level. And the farming system for nutrition model, about which I'll talk a little more in detail. And moving forward from these models, engaging at the policy advocacy level. And under the stewardship of Professor M.S. Swaminathan, the initial consultations which led to the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act, the Biological Diversity Act were all shown here. And following up from the food insecurity atlases and reports that we produced, we collaborated with the National Commission on Farmers over 2004 and 2005 on Mission 2007, Hunger Free India, through a series of consultations, regional and national level consultations across the country. And again, networking and partnership, sharing our work and learning from others. A lot of you here would know about the Coalition for Food and Nutrition Security. The seeds for that were also sown here at a consultation that we had in 2007 on nutrition security. And we are actively partnering with the government of Odisha and the civil society NGOs there on the Odisha Millet Mission, about which Mr. Balakrishnan will be talking to us today. And in a very focused manner over the last 6 years, Professor Swaminathan referred to the research program on leveraging agriculture for nutrition in South Asia, LANSA. It's an international research consortium with India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan as the focus countries, and where we've looked at the different pathways linking agriculture to nutrition that Dr. Dalwai referred to, and undertook studies under these different themes: agriculture policies, strategies, what are the issues there, what is needed. Dr. Dalwai also referred to the agri-food value chains post-farm gate, and how do you address the consumer. So that's again an area we've looked at. Papers on these have been published, and some are still in the pipeline. And at the action research level, the approach has been on the endeavor we undertook was to demonstrate the feasibility of a farming systems approach to address the problem of undernutrition, taking this holistic approach of mainstreaming the nutrition dimension in the farming system. So technically, again, the integrated farming systems model, the thrust seems to be more on profitability, productivity and sustainability, but to bring in, ensuring that the nutrition dimension is given equal importance in that has been the focus of this. And we did this in a cluster of villages in Koraput district in Odisha and Wardha district in Maharashtra. Many of you here have been partners with us in this endeavor, and we've made presentations to you, including to Mr. Balakrishnan. Well, the approach was to first understand the nutrition situation there. So there was highly undernourished population, dependent on agriculture, and highly cereal-dominated diets, with consumption of all other food groups being less than the recommended intake. Again, something Dr. Dalwai spoke about. So the focus was of the design, again in a participatory manner with the community. Once we shared the nutrition situation status with them, was to focus on increase the area and availability of the nutrient-dense crops, so primarily millets and pulses. Nutrition gardens of fruits and vegetables, be it at the household level, community level models for those who are landless, also promoting it in schools for greater awareness and taking it back home by the school children. And as supporting interventions, we worked on poultry promotion in individual and community level ponds in Koraput, on fishery in individual and community level ponds in Koraput, and poultry for the landless and marginal farmers in Wardha. And nutrition awareness across the board from the household level, institutional level, and also working to capacitate community farm men and women to be champions at the community level. And going forward from this, it's like these farm men and women have now become our spokespersons. So this is just to run you through the approach that I described in terms of our thrust on bringing this change on promotion of nutrient-dense crops. And so the focus was on improving the dietary diversity, which will then eventually lead to better nutrition outcomes. And we did an end-line survey late last year. So the baseline was in 2014, and the end-line around the same time, late 2017. And we are able to see an increase in the number of households cultivating both millets and pulses and sourcing it from their own production for their home consumption, increased frequency of consumption as well as intake. Just an example given here of finger millet and pulses. Orange flesh sweet potato was something we promoted with help from the Tuber Crop Research Institute. Dr. Nedunjayan will be talking to us about that. And again, so fish consumption we found has increased following the introduction of the poultry intervention, and similar findings we find in the case of Wardha for increase in egg consumption, again increase in sorghum and pulse consumption. And so this is just a summary, and the interesting part is once the farmers see the evidence for themselves, it starts replicating and multiplying. So from the 5 villages in Wardha, it's now expanded to another 16 villages in Wardha and another 18 villages in Koraput. And we had farmers from these villages speak at a national consultation in Delhi that we had in July 2016, and that was, I think, one of the key turning points where we had a lot of donor agencies and civil society organizations, people from the government there, and that led on to this the support from the Tata Trust for the advocacy for this farming system for nutrition model in 4 states, in Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Bihar, about which my colleague Dr. Rukmani will be talking to you after me. We had this regional consultation on FSN again here at the foundation last year in August, and which came out with the Chennai Action Plan for a Nutrition Revolution and calling for demonstration of the farming system for nutrition models in the KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendras, under the aegis of the ICAR, which was again reiterated when we had a consultation with Niti Aayog in early January this year, and taking it forward, that's something which is now happening in Maharashtra, and we're looking forward to hearing from Dr. Lakhan Singh about that. And so there's advocacy for the farming system for nutrition in these 4 states of Odisha and Maharashtra, where we've already been working and demonstrating, and we were engaging with the government. And Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, this from last February, we've been working on this right from the district level, engaging with officials. And over May and June of this year, we had state level consultations, and we are now here at the the national level consultation to discuss and deliberate on how do we take this forward. So this is kind of where we are, and in terms of, we all know that in terms of the challenge facing us, there's still a lot to do, a long road ahead that we have to traverse, and we look forward to all the support of all our well-wishers, of partners, of engaging with the government and civil society organizations and research institutions in taking this forward. And it has to be a collaborative effort, as nobody can deny that, in our goal to work towards a malnutrition-free India. Thank you.